Another element of the state is its people. Under the Philippine Constitution, the term people is taken in to be understood in the following manner. People is understood as its inhabitants. People is likewise understood as its electors, and the same is also understood in the context of them as citizens. This interpretations or understanding of what people are found in the scattered provisions of the Constitution. In Article 13, we found it on the matter of the um, right of the people to human dignity, the reduction of economic and political inequalities, and the removal of cultural inequities. And second, on in Article 2, we also find the state being obligated to promote and protect the right to health of the people and and instilling in them health consciousness. Also, in the same article, we have the obligation of the state to protect and advance the right of the people to a balanced and healthful ecology. Furthermore, we also have the provision on Article 3 on the right of the people to privacy. So this extends to non-citizens as well, no? Just simply inhabitants, no? Um, you have the case of Kwal Chi Gan versus Deportation Board that says that the right to privacy is a popular right of the people, and of course, indisputably, it applies to both citizens and foreigners in this country. Also, the second manner of understanding the term people is people as understood to be electors. So we have the term people used in several provisions of the Constitution when we qualify for the voting for our elected officials, no? President, the vice president, members of Congress, and also when we concur with when we ratify, a treaty referring to the installation or introduction of military bases or foreign military bases or troops or facilities in our country. People is also seen as citizens in the Constitution. As citizens, we first see this as manifest in the narration of the preamble, begins with "We the sovereign Filipino people," declaring that the Constitution is a people's document, no, by the citizens only, because who ratified the Constitution are the electors, and the electors are, of course, you qualify only as an elector if you are Filipino, natural born or naturalized, no. You are deemed to be the author, no, or the one responsible for the promulgation of the Constitution. We likewise recognize that sovereignty resides in the people, not just with inhabitants, but citizens specifically. Um, we live in a democratic and republican state, but the power of the state comes from us. You also have the obligation of the people to defend the state, no? Um, we may be called upon to defend the state. And also, as citizens, we have the right to information on matters of public concern. So when you raise a case for review, where the right of the people to information is uh, the subject of the case, you have a standing because you are a citizen. No? So in that aspect of the right to information, it refers only to citizens. So let's go to citizens. Section 1 of Article 4 narrates who the citizens are of the Philippines. This include those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of the Constitution, those whose fathers or mothers are citizens of the Philippines, those born before January 7, 1973, of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority. We will understand the significance of the date later. and those who are naturalized in accordance with law. So, under the 87 Constitution, Filipino citizens may either be natural born or naturalized. The first three enumerated in the provision refer to natural born citizen. No? Those born of Filipino parents, those who are citizens at the time of the adoption of the Constitution, born before January 17, 1973, or under the 1935 Constitution, when you elect Philippine citizenship when you reach the age of majority. And the last in the enumeration are those who are naturalized in accordance with law. So two classifications, natural born and naturalized. So we look at the distinction between the citizens of the Philippines in the 1935, the 1973, and 1987 Constitution. Common to them is the first paragraph, that citizens are those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of the Constitution. For the 1935 Constitution, those who are citizens before it was it took effect, 73 for the 1935 and 87 for the 1973, which brings forth to our attention the Philippine Bill of 1902, prior to the 1935 Constitution, where there was for the first time, a description on who the citizens of the Philippine Islands. No, in the Philippine Bill of 1902, this is actually highlighted in the case of FPJ, no, which we will be taking up in a few moments. No, the term citizens of the Philippines are those who are inhabitants in the Philippines and a Spanish subject as of the 11th day of April 1899. So when you speak of an inhabitant as of 11 April 1899, they refer to those who are native born here, no, inhabitants. An inhabitant who was a native of Peninsular Spain, an inhabitant who obtained Spanish papers on or before April 11, 1899. So it could mean that you are a native of the Philippines or a Spanish subject who considered staying here, no, as an inhabitant, a permanent inhabitant. No? So this case of Texon versus Comelec, this is a popular case because this narrates or talks about the history of Philippine citizenship. This question, the ascendants, no, the descendants of FPJ, the grandfather, whose citizenship was questioned. The question is whether or not the grandfather of FPJ was a Filipino. He died in 1954, 84 years old. So he was born sometime in 1870. So he lived in San Carlos, Pangasinan. Presumably he lived there because he passed on in that place, no? So it would mean by the normal flow of events that he was in the Philippines from 1870 to 1954, meaning that he benefited from the en masse Filipinization in the Philippine Bill of 1902, which considered as Filipinos those who were inhabitants in the Philippines as of 11 April 1899. So the reckoning date is 11 April 1899. That was in between the year 1870 and 1954. That's the presumption there. So another thing that we have to consider here in the distinctions and similarities of the three constitutions in citizenship is that the 1935 Constitution recognizes that you are a citizen if your father is a citizen of the Philippines. It's only in the 1973 Constitution where it now includes the mother. So whose mothers or fathers or mothers are citizens of the Philippines, together with the 1987 Constitution. So ang pinagkaiba ng 1987 and 73 with the 35 Constitution is the exclusion of mothers, no, as your descendants, no, if they are Filipinos, no. So another one is so for the 35 Constitution, note that um, yung sinasabing those whose fathers are citizens of the Philippines, hindi kasama ang mother. Kasi you only are a citizen of the Philippines if your mother was a citizen of the Philippines and upon reaching the age of majority, you still have to elect Philippine citizenship. Unlike in the 73 and 87 Constitution, there is no need to elect Philippine citizenship. Okay? So that's the basis there for the paragraph no in the Constitution saying that those who are born before the effectivity of the 1973 Constitution and who has to elect Philippine citizenship at the age of majority. Kasi under the 35 Constitution, if you are born of a Filipino mother, you really have to vote first, elect first Philippine citizenship, not vote, elect Philippine citizenship. Because it's not automatic, unlike in the 73 or 87 Constitution, that if you are born with a Filipino mother, na Filipino citizen ka rin. 35 Constitution, you still have to elect. No? Those who are naturalized in accordance with law are also found in the constitutions. No? If you're a female citizen in the 73 Constitution, you are not deemed to have lost your citizenship by your marriage to an alien. But it's more inclusive in the 87 Constitution because it now includes also the other gender or sex, no? Because it now says from a female citizen to any citizen of the Philippines, no? Whose marriage to aliens do not divest them automatically of Philippine citizenship. Okay? Because in 1973, you are not deemed to have lost your citizenship if you're a female na nag-asawa ng foreigner. But what about the male citizens who are able to marry foreigners or aliens? And then you have this provision specifically in the 1935 Constitution. You are born in the Philippines of foreign parents, but before the adoption, that's before the adoption of the Constitution of 35, but you have been elected to public office in the Philippine Islands. It is not found in the other two constitutions. It's actually an accommodation, no, to those who served the Philippine government by election under the 35 or prior to the 35 Constitution. And of course, no, it took effect only when such election happened before the adoption of the 35 Constitution. So we recall, we will understand here that citizenship may be acquired by naturalization proceedings, and your citizenship, though not naturalized, though natural born, could still be questioned. No, could still be questioned in court, especially if there is doubt as to your descent. No, saan ka galing? You have a Chinese sounding name or Japanese sounding name. Your natural born citizenship may be questioned, especially if you're running for office or wanting to qualify for something that are exclusive to those who are natural born. No? Remember that if your citizenship is questioned, the decision is not res judicata, meaning sometime in the interim, no, though you have a case already filed in court to determine your citizenship, in the interim, something might have happened to your citizenship that may cause you to have a change in nationalities, no, in your citizenship. That's why it has to be thrashed out all over again. There's an exception. The exception is in the case of Burka versus Republic, and they are in your screen, no? There must be a full-blown hearing where citizenship is a material issue, and of course, the decision is affirmed by the Supreme Court. It becomes res adjudicata. There is no need to thresh it out again, unless there's really a change in your status, no? Case in point is this case of Gonzalez versus Penesi. Okay. We're saying that where the Supreme Court said that the courts are not precluded from reviewing the findings of even the Bureau of Immigration. No? So this matter of the election of Philippine citizenship under the 1987 Constitution dates back to the 1973 Constitution, but it finds its roots in the 35 Constitution. Remember, you are born of a Filipino mother, no? Who, you need to elect Philippine citizenship first before you become a citizen. So your right is in Kuwait. It's not it's not automatic. You still have to elect Philippine citizenship. Your citizenship is only up to the point of your minority, but you could lose your citizenship if you fail to elect upon reaching the age of majority. How do you elect Philippine citizenship? You have Commonwealth Act 625, an act providing for the manner in which the option to elect Philippine citizenship shall be declared by a person whose mother is a Filipino citizen. The requirement is that the election should be stated in writing, signed and sworn to by the party in front of an officer authorized to administer oath, and thereafter registered in the nearest Philippine Civil Registry. Okay, the party shall also make a statement as to his oath of allegiance to the Constitution and the government of the Philippines. So this matter of Ching, no? I think he applied to take his oath as an attorney, but his citizenship was questioned. He raised the point that he chose Philippine citizenship, but it was pointed out that his choice was 14 years after he reached the age of majority. According to the Supreme Court, Philippine citizenship can never be treated like a commodity that can be claimed whenever needed and suppressed when convenient. It has to be claimed immediately. It's a case of Republic versus Lim. This requirement now of citizenship specific, no? The provision of electing Philippine citizenship apply only to legitimate children of because if you are an illegitimate child of a Filipino mother, well, there is the presumption is you are a legitimate child where your biological parent could be, anyway, but you're an illegitimate child. Because you're an illegitimate child, you automatically become a Filipino citizen, an illegitimate child of a Filipino mother, no? Okay. Because if you're a legitimate child and it may be possible that your father is a foreigner, an alien, you may be acquiring his foreign citizenship. But if you're an illegitimate child, you automatically get the citizenship of your mother. Ma versus Fernandez, he elected Philippine citizenship but failed to timely register it in the nearest civil registry. According to the Supreme Court, well, it's okay because registration is a mere confirmation of an existence of the fact, which is your selection of Filipino citizenship. No? What is immediate must be the election, not the registration. This case of Republic versus Sagun, similar to the case of Ching, he elected Philippine citizenship 12 years after he reached the age of majority. While he participated in elections, that does not cure the defect that he elected his Philippine citizenship belatedly. No, participation in suffrage, even passing the board exam, will not make you acquire Philippine citizenship because that the law is very specific. No, you have to elect Philippine citizenship immediately after reaching the age of majority. So there is no ratification as to your Philippine citizenship. No, who are natural born? Section 2, natural born citizens are those citizens who from birth are citizens without having to perform any act to acquire or perfect Philippine citizenship. I remember that those who need to elect Philippine citizenship before January 17 of 1973 are considered as Filipino natural born citizens, though they need to perform an act, but that's the exception. No? They are deemed to be natural born citizens. So why such a big fuss about being natural born? This because this qualifies you to certain offices in the government, like president, vice president, members of Congress, no, for both upper and lower house. You can be a justice of the Supreme Court if you are natural born, and you can be an ombudsman or a deputy of the ombudsman if you are natural born. Also, for to be a member of the civil service, COMELEC or COA, you have to be natural born. And of course, if you are a part of the Central Monetary Authority, you should also be natural born. Same with the Commission on Human Rights. You must be natural born. So certain offices require of you to be natural born. The case in point is this case of Lamanzares versus COMELEC. This refers to the question of citizenship of Grace Poe. Well, we know that she's a foundling. Now, her citizenship is questioned as to being natural born or naturalized because she ran for president. That requires you to be natural born. So sabi ng Supreme Court, well, the matter of probabilities, no? First, she was born in a place predominated by Filipinos. What are the odds that she's an alien? And also, she has features that resemble Filipinos. So the 99.9% chance that she's a Filipino is undeniable. No? Further, as a founding, she is sui generis, no, a class of which is given by even by international law, the category of being natural born as a foundling. No? This case of Kilos Bayan versus Ermita questioned the citizenship of the Justice of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that the alleged subsequent recognition of this justice's status as natural born by the BI cannot amend the final decision of the trial court, stating that Respondent Ong, Justice Ong, and his mother were naturalized. Okay, so the Bureau of Immigration cannot change the status of a person from naturalized to natural born. So we proceed with who naturalized citizens are in the next video. Thank you for watching.